Hello Furkies, this is day 50 of me playing chess every day until I reach the rapid rating of 2500. So here we go. We have the game, we have the white pieces, and once again we are playing against a lower rated opponent. So pawn to e4, and what will my opponent play? He plays the Caro-Kann defense, wow. Now pawn to d4, pawn d5 is the Caro-Kann defense. And now there are many options how to play this position, but I like to play pawn to f3 here, defending the pawn in the center of the board, and this is very unpleasant to deal with. So my opponent takes, now e5 is the only move, good job finding that. Knight f3, bishop g4, you take, that's a move as well, but after takes, I play bishop c4, I don't take my pawn back, I play bishop c4, knight f6, and now I castle. If you take the pawn you lose because all the sacrifices here. So just takes, and something like bishop e6 loses as well. And I have analyzed this position very deeply with the engine. And b5, I don't remember this move being one of the options here. So probably just bishop b3, putting the bishop still on this diagonal. Bishop e7, okay. And now there is one variation where you play knight g5, and practically you are losing already if you are black, because if castles, well, if castles I just take with the knight, rook takes, bishop takes, king takes, and then e5 should win the piece here. So knight g5, I mean probably just castles, otherwise you lose this pawn anyway. You could try bishop e6, but he castles. And now I know that for a fact bishop takes on f7 is met with king h8. So just knight takes, threatening all the discovered checks. Rook takes, bishop takes, king takes, and e5. And that's just very bad for my opponent. Now after e5, this is just very bad position. I will be what? An exchange up probably. Or wait, I will be a piece up. No, an exchange up. Yes, I will be an exchange up. Okay, this is not terribly wrong. Or I don't think so, just takes probably. King h1 also a move, but just takes, why not? Okay, you take back with the bishop. I mean, I could play check. Or perhaps here not taking, but playing check was also fine. Maybe it was a little bit better. But then d3 is... Okay, we'll analyze the game afterwards. Also, bishop g5 just seems very natural. Bishop g5, if pawn to d3. Then just king h1. Takes, it doesn't scare me whatsoever. So bishop g5, probably knight d7, still the best move. Probably some like check here, and just maybe takes, and just takes here. And yes, this is just a very bad position for my opponent. Yes, knight d7, queen h5, and king g8 is met with queen e8, actually checkmate. So let me put it on the board here. King g8, there is just queen to e8 checkmate. So let's play this. Probably here. I mean, king e7 is just too bad, right? Oh, what am I even talking about? That's not checkmate. Oh my goodness. Of course it's not checkmate, but it is just very bad position anyway. Just takes. Bishop b7. Queen somewhere. Well, I don't know why I thought it was a checkmate after queen e8. Knight, of course, can interfere with knight to e8, but this was the best move anyway here. So, there is also perhaps a rook sack after here. Bishop b7 though. Probably there is a rook sack in there, but Why would I do that? I can just take the bishop. Bishop b7. Queen e5 takes and queen takes. Threatening here perhaps. And I mean, the position is so much winning that it doesn't quite matter. I mean, of course, the fact that you cannot take the bishop is just very sad at this point of the game. Because if bishop takes, yes, bishop b7, correct. Now even the rook takes is fine. Queen takes rook is fine. But not the best, of course. Queen e5. Here and queen takes probably. d3 check, yes, king h1 now. Though there was also queen to d4. But queen d4 probably c5. So that's not the best either. You have to take now. If you don't take, well, I just take. You take on c. Yes, you take. Take with the queen or with the rook? Here and here. I don't accomplish anything probably. If rook takes here, queen g5, next move king h8, that's still nothing actually. So just here and here. But I can still go queen g5 anyway, so you play queen c7. Okay, I guess. But I just take here now. And I will be up an exchange and a pawn, right? Knight d7, I still have queen f7 if needed, so just takes. Yes, I think that's just fine. Rook d8. Okay move, nothing wrong with it. It doesn't do anything. If you take here, I will deliver a checkmate. So knight c3. Maybe here, maybe here. This is checkmate, my friend. And yes, it was a very, very quick game. So let's game review. Let's game review the game. And we'll see how accurately we both played. And we'll analyze the game extensively. Why? Because the game was very short. And we have the time to do it. So yes, I played with 89% accuracy. My opponent played with 66, of course, making some blunders at the end. And let's analyze the game now. So it was pawn to e4 and pawn to c6 here. And now d4, d5 of course being the only move. And here there are many options. You can of course play e5, entering the advanced variation here with some bishop f5, knight f3, e6, bishop e2, knight d7, and castles and c5 positions, which are just fine. I mean, maybe not c5 right away, maybe knight e7 followed by c5. It doesn't quite matter. But after d5, you could also just take and then play knight f3, bishop d3, bishop f4, excuse me, bishop f4, bishop d3, and just castles, and c3 and knight d2. This is also playable. But I play f3 in this position. Not the best, but the positions are really exciting after takes, pawn takes, and why e5 is the only move? Because if you play something like knight f6, well, just e5, knight d5, and c4 should be just much better. It is plus 1.5. Not winning, but much better here after something like h4, h5, maybe even bishop e3, bishop g7, and something like rook c1 also fine. Knight f3, bishop d3, and castles. I have the open f file, but my opponent took the pawn here, and after pawn takes, e5 being the only move. And of course you cannot take here. Why? Not because of the queen trade, which is still probably just equal, but because of a move queen to h4 here, this check exploiting that I pushed f3, weakening this diagonal. And of course after g3 I drop a rook here in the corner of the board, and the queen escapes with the move queen takes on h2. So after e5 I cannot take the pawn, so the best move is to play knight f3. Now bishop g4 is the main line. After bishop c4, if your opponent plays something like knight d7, well, you can just sack your bishop and win the game like this with this double attack here. king e8 just takes everything. It is +3 for white. And of course, after knight f3, my opponent took the pawn, which is also fine. But it is not as fine as playing the move bishop g4 or bishop e6 in that position. So bishop e6 or bishop g5 are fine. Here taking is very bad because of c5. Let me just put it on the board. No, because of queen h4, excuse me. Now also g3, just queen takes here. And queen e2, just reds queens, that's bad. But if you don't take with the knight, you could perhaps take with the queen, which is just equal, and not with queen d5 there, it's not equal, but queen takes on d4. This pawn is weak, so black I suppose is slightly better. But after bishop c4, just putting this bishop on a very active square, on a very active diagonal, sacrificing the pawn, gambiting the pawn, and now bishop g4 loses once again because of bishop takes on f7, and this tactic of this fork once again, fork chess, fork, so ha. No, I'm just kidding. Knight f6 here was played, which was the best move. Now pushing e5 is bad because just knight d5, I give him the square, which is not very good, so just castles here, a very good move, opening up the rook. And if you take the pawn now, well, you just lose. There are many options that you lose. The best move is knight e5, and there is no defense. If you push f6, well, just knight f7 is a possibility. This fork, there is also queen h5 and just this, winning the rook in the corner. Or yes, just playing knight f7, forking the two pieces here. But after castles, my opponent played the move b5, which I have never seen before, and it is already +1 for white. Bishop b3, of course, the best move. Not the best move. What was the best move? Pawn to e5, apparently. And after this queen takes. Knight g5. Oh, I get it. With this attack, like queen d6 and then just here. Okay, I get it. I mean, but if here just pawn takes, I mean, I think these pawns are ugly. But if c5 is played, I mean, I cannot play knight d4, or I can. Wow, I mean, this is just, I would never have played e5 in that position. Bishop b3, I think, is just normal. This bishop is still on this very useful diagonal. Now my opponent played the move bishop e7. I played the move knight g5. And now castles was the best. Really, castles is the best. But I can just take and king takes and d5. Of course, because of this long-term pressure that was created with this rook opening up. Excuse me, my mic is kinda shattered here. No, I'm just kidding. Well, now knight d7. There is the move queen h5, which is bad. Okay, not queen h5 apparently. Just takes, knight takes, and just knight d2 continue developing. And I am up on exchange. He has 2 bishops, I have 2 rooks, so he has a pawn though on d4 that I gambited earlier. But after e5, he played the move queen b6, lining on this diagonal, kinda trying to push d3 and kinda, I mean, there is nothing. Even d3 even takes, I mean, just takes back. So I took, which was the best move. Bishop takes and queen h5. No, I played bishop g5 earlier. Okay, that's still good. Knight d7 and now queen h5, king g8. And here I delivered a checkmate. No, I'm just kidding. I thought it was a checkmate, but of course knight f8 covers the square, and this is of course the only move. Now bishop takes, the only move. You can take. Wow, now this is mate in 5. Okay, I missed that mate in 5, but we'll get over it. So g takes on f3 was the best move. Rook take, but I don't know how are you not getting mated. Queen c5 apparently the only move, of course. And just knight d2 and just win the game anyway. But after bishop takes on f6, my opponent played bishop e7. Now I have mate in 5 moves, which I missed. I played the move queen to e5, which is of course still winning. But after bishop e7, I had the brilliant move. Brilliant, I mean everything wins. But bishop d8. Why? Because if queen takes, well, rook takes is checkmate here. And queen f7 is also winning, but anything else probably loses here. Not loses, but it's not winning. And after after bishop d8, if rook takes, well then just rook f8, still checkmate. Why is it in 5 though? Here after g takes. No. Where was I? Bishop d8. Why is this mate in 4? d3, queen h1. Oh, I guess queen g1. I guess h6. Rook here, and this is finally forced mate in 5 moves. I mean, not really. But okay, queen e5 was played. He played the move pawn to d3, which is fine. King h1. I mean, this was just rook e8. I mean, I'm up on exchange. I have an extra pawn. This game should be over immediately. I mean, very quickly. I played the move knight c3. Now my opponent took the pawn. And of course, queen takes on f8 is just a checkmate. And I suppose my opponent was nervous, playing like a 200 rated opponent. I mean, a opponent that has 200 rating points more than you. So I guess he wasn't playing his best game. But anyway, we won today's game. And if you have anything to tell me, please let me know in the comments below. I will be reading and answering all of your comments. And if you liked the video, please consider subscribing. It would really help me out. And see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.